Greetings, duelists, and welcome to another deck report. This is Season 5, Week 22 or 23. I'll have it edited. I'm going to call this Season 5X. The reason we're putting the X in the title is because this is going to be my first deck report. With the new Konami rule policy change in mind. For those who have not been on this channel before, the way I structurize my deck reports is I try to report each week, and the season ends when a new Forbidden Limited list happens, which means we entering a new structural format. However, we are under a big change, but that big change is not by the ban list, which means I will start putting the X on like my video titles until we actually get our next Forbidden Limited list. And then we can move on to Season 6. That being said, I did play yesterday at locals. I played the Lunalight deck. I am currently on a 9-0-1 record with the deck. I have not lost a single match ever since I picked up the deck and the strategy towards my locals. However, this tournament yesterday, despite it being the last tournament before the new rules set change, kind of felt like if the new rules were there already. And I will get to that part when I give out my report on the decks that I faced and how my time went with those decks. For the most part, most of these deck reports have been me showing you the deck and just me like explaining like how cards were relevant for me each week. But moving forward, and this is not something that I will be doing verbatim, so this is not guaranteed to be happening on every deck report, but I will give a very small detailed report on how the match ended, because that is very important with this new rules changes, with the policy in mind. That being said, let's go straight to the deck, and then I'll talk about the matches and how it went. So, 3 Gold Leo, 2 Kaleido Chicks, 2 Silver Hounds, 2 Black Sheep, 1 Tiger, 1 Wolf, 1 Emerald Bird, 1 Yellow Martin, 1 Fractal. I think after seeing the Worlds list and seeing a few other Lunalight lists that have topped on events, I feel like this is almost a perfect ratio. Like, you kind of have to play every Lunalight name that is here, at least these numbers. You can play more if you want. I've seen people with up to 18 Lunalight cards, like Lunalight monsters in the main. But the reason you play 2 Silver Hounds, because I know some people were wondering about this one, is because you don't want this card drawn as a dead card. The only real way to get rid of this card and trigger its effect, if you have it in hand, is with either Emerald Bird, Gold Leo, or fusing it away. Which is not very ideal. So by keeping an extra Silver Hound in your deck, Fractal still works, and Lunalight Masquerade still works. So if you're a Lunalight player and you're deciding on the ratios of cards, I would say you should be safe. You should try to be safe and play a second Silver Hound. Post side, you can just easily side one out. I've sided one out every single game. So that's it for the monsters. Not that many. I am not on hand traps. I'll explain that. Spell cards. Triple Forge Burial Goods. Triple Fire Formation Tenki, Triple Masquerade, and then we got the 1 Forge Burial. These are our consistency cards. Lunalight is not a real 1-card combo deck, except for Gold Leo. Gold Leo is like the real 1-card starter. So you want as many starters slash extenders as you can. This was really cool about this, that the deck kind of feels like Snake Eye, like in a way where pretty much every single starter that you have is also an extender, which is pretty neat. You like it kind of helps with the redundancy the deck usually gets sometimes. So as for other cards, we got 3 Eclipse, 3 Perfume. We're on 3 thrusts this time. Last week we're on 2 thrusts. Talents, super poly, regular poly, heavy poly, Called by the Brave, and the Lunalight fusion. Those are the spell cards. I opted for 3 fusion spells. They're easily searchable, and with playing the 3rd copy of Thrust, you have access to heavy poly in your main deck whenever you need to. I only did it once on game 1. I felt comfortable with how hand traps in the main because I feel like the too many extenders that we have and the triple thrust is just enough. The MVP of my week, at least for now, was the main deck Book of Eclipse. This was the replacement for Infinite Impermanence, and I'm so happy I played this card. This card won me so, like, this card guaranteed 3 games. And not only did it guarantee 3 games, it guaranteed me a win under there can be only 1, which is a really strong floodgate against this deck. Like, I do not regret this card in the main deck. I will keep playing this card in the main deck moving forward, even if, like, Malice gets popular again. But yeah, that's it for these. Way too many spell cards. I think it's like it's over 20. It's like 23 spells. And the last 2 cards are the Serenity Dance and the Black Goat Olafs. Yeah. Not much to say about these cards. I am playing 3 thrusts in the main, so if I get hand tapped at one point, I can just set the Black Goat, and I did do that twice. Yeah. Not much to say there. Alright. Next up. Almirage, Cross Sheep, SP. Wolf, Tiger King, Baguska. This is already standard. Exiton Knight is not standard, and neither is Guardian Chimera. I kind of just wanted a way to just like simplify the game with my engine. A lot of people allows me to get to 2 level 4s with their M board in already. And most M boards right now are not ending on negates, so that already gives value to Exiton Knight. A lot of people will imperm your Gold Leo before you get to your Exiton Knight, so for the most part, if it's not post side, Exiton Knight should be resolving. And I don't care if I don't OTK them at turn. Like, if I summon Liger, like, I don't care about their crackback anymore, because they need their crackback to get rid of this. Otherwise, they just lose the very last next turn after that. Let's talk about Guided Chimera. I'm so happy I played this card in my deck. My round 3 opponent was Vanquish Soul, and they did flip There Can Be Only One against me, and I had the Book of Eclipse to play around it, but in the options I don't have the Book of Eclipse. Polymerization from Black Sheep allows you to summon Guardian Chimera, and the Guardian Chimera is a beast, not a beast warrior, so it plays around the rivalry. And this also doesn't target, so this can get rid of the rivalry, and this cannot be targeted, so you cannot get impermed or veilered. So yeah, I will keep playing this moving forward. I think this was a very good choice. And then after that, it's just the Lunalight fusions that you're used to. I did put Saber Dancer now, as opposed to last list, and this did secure 2 games for me. Side deck. Triple Fura, double Perulia, double Droll, double Lancia. I did not want to play without hand traps in the side deck. There are some very scary decks that just get to abuse their plays if you don't stop them. Shoutouts to my round 4 opponent, Jeremy. He was playing dinosaurs, and his dinosaur draft deck is really strong. Like, he has been topping every week with the deck. Like, I think he's still undefeated against Yummy, or he might have lost one game against Yummy, but he beat every Yummy opponent in our locals like this past week with the deck. So yeah, very scary deck. I might ask him for a deck profile for the channel, just because it's not something normal that you see. Other side cards: 2 heavy poly, 2 droplets, 1 feather duster, and the last card was dimensional barrier. This is a thrust target for if I get faced against Mitsurugi or the mirror match or like some specific deck. I think this is also good against Crystron, at least the K9 Crystron deck. Just cutting them off XYZs is just really strong. This is also really good against Yummy, but again, our Yummy matchup is already good with Liger. Yeah. Shoutouts to one of my testing partners. He's Mr. Rugi, and he already learned how to beat my Lunalight deck. So this is pretty much like something for him if he ever goes to my locals. But I don't regret this side. I think this side was pretty much very good for what it was. It covered almost everything I wanted it to be covered. Now, deck report time. Let's talk about my rounds, and then we can talk about the policy changes and how relevant they were for me. So, every single round up until my last round, I did not go into time. The match was ending around the 37th to the 40-minute mark. Which, actually, no. It was around the 30-minute mark. Yeah, it was around the 30 to 35-minute mark. Which was relevant for me because with these new time rules, playing an optimal pace is very imperative, especially when you're playing a deck where people just don't know what your cards do. Like, I had a close call in round 2. It was against, I guess I should mention my rounds. So, round 1, I played against Red Eyes Dracotail. Really cool deck. He was playing Primate cards in it too. Liger Dancer was just a little bit too much for that matchup. He didn't have any hand traps to answer my board game 1. And game 2, like, he put up a really respectable board, but I opened double heavy poly. He negated one with the Dracotail trap, and then I just activated the second one, and the Liger just soloed the game. Round 2 was against Odeon Fiendsmith, and that one was tough because he didn't know what my cards did, and he didn't scoop game 1 despite me summoning double Liger Dancer, because he, in his words, he wanted to see what the deck could actually do. And he was sort of smart about it because I did summon Baguska as part of my end board, and he summoned Man with the Mark. to change to defense. And if you don't know about Manual with the Mark, he cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. My way of beating that was I had two options. Option 1 was Tiger King, and option 2 was SP Little Knight. And remember, Liger's unaffected by SP Little Knight's like condition. So it was game. Second game was very, very interesting, and I won't lie, Book of Eclipse really helped me there. So on game 2, he had like the typical Tombkeeper M board. He had the DDD High King Caesar. He had the Apophis traps. He had like the Temple of the Kings. And what really helped the matchup was Book of Eclipse. My hand was really good. I opened Book of Eclipse, Thrust, and Talents. And I also opened Gold Leo, I opened Gold Leo, Masquerade. No, I don't think it was Gold Leo. I think it was Fractal. It was Fractal, Masquerade, and it was a Perfume. I think that was the hand. And like the tough part about all of this was trying to play around the Apophis cards. And the thing about the Apophis cards is, and this is one really neat ruling for people that are unfamiliar with that deck, Book of Eclipse is very, very important in that matchup because the Snake Deity Apophis can only negate if you have other face-up continuous spell and traps. So what you end up doing is, when they activate the second Apophis and they have both Apophis and the Serpent Apophis on the board, you Book of Eclipse them, and all the Apophis go back to the spell and trap zone, set as like their own continuous spell and traps. So not only did you get rid of 3 monsters, their negates didn't resolve because there were no continuous traps face up on the field for the Apophis to negate. And that was pretty much secured my match. It was a tough, I'm not gonna say it was a tough call, but I just won 2 games and the time was running real quick, but me and my clever thinking with my tech cards just got me there. And it was really important for me to activate Thrust and Perfume before resolving Perfume's Graveyard Effect, Masquerade, and Eclipse, because he did have Dominus Purge. And Dominus Purge would have negated my Book of Eclipse. So that was round 2. Round 3 was against Vanquish Soul. And again, Book of Eclipse was really good in that matchup. So what Book of Eclipse did for me was on the start of his turn, because he, on the start of my turn, he had Ripper, Heavy Borgar, and Holy Sue, and the Rock. And I did have Book of Eclipse, and this just settled the monsters. But more importantly, the reason this card was very important was because he at one point flipped there can be only one. And there was a point in the game where I was activating the Lunalight fusion, and I had like a Lunalight on board. He flipped there can be only one. I changed Book of Eclipse. I sent my monster, and the Lunalight fusion resolves, and he had Rock of the Vanquisher in the field. So I sent my Leo Dancer from my extra to the graveyard to summon Liger Dancer. and that pretty much secured my game. I was still safe against my Vanquishable opponent because I did have Polymerization in hand, and as you already saw from my extra deck, I do play Guardian Chimera. And I did have Kaleido Shake, so this would have been relevant in the case that Guardian Chimera would have fused away, get rid of his there can be only one. Kaleido Shake grabs back the Polymerization, and since I did fusion summon for a fusion monster, I could also trigger the Masquerade. The Masquerade's effect to grab back the Poly and just fuse from graveyard. So that's something really cool and really important for Lunalight players to remember about. So yeah, Book of Eclipse pretty much secured my second game against Vanquish Soul on round 3. And game ended with 12 minutes on the clock for time still, so very strong start. Round 4 was against the Jurek dinosaur player that I mentioned. Shout out to Jeremy. Game 1, I went first. I won the die roll. I summoned Double Liger, and he had no outs. His strongest monster is Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and that's 3,500. Game 2, I opened. My hand was really good. My hand was really good going second because I had Fualas, which did resolve, and not only did I have Fualas, I had Heavy Polymerization, Thrust. I think it was Perfume, and I think that was it. I'm trying to remember what else I had. I think I opened the Fractal. This was my hand going second. And the Full Loss did resolve. So it was really, really strong. And I just managed to play through the board, and the moment Liger hit the board, it was over. So round 5 was against another Vanquish Soul. That was the toughest match in the entire day because my Vanquish Soul opponent actually had a main deck out for the Liger Dancer, and that was Kurikara Div Incarnate. And not only did they do they have the out for this in their main deck, they actually grabbed it off Prosperity. So they actually got rid of my Liger Dancer. And the game state was I had the Wolf in the graveyard, I have Tiger in here, and I top deck Lunalight Perfume, and I have no Leo Dancers in graveyard. And it was a very tough game. Wolf was in the extra deck. He popped it with with the Caesar values. So on that game, what ended up happening was I activated Tiger. Tiger brought back Kaleido Shake. Kaleido Shake effect to send the Wolf back to the graveyard. I activate Perfume. Perfume to bring back Perfume Dancer. I tried to Perfume Dancer for Tiger. He got rid of it with SP Little Knight. I used Perfume to dump. Actually, I activated the Tiger to bring back. No, I used the Yellow Martin to summon itself, grabbing back the Tiger. I used the Perfume. I dumped the Tiger to add Gold Leo I normal summon Golio. Golio's effect. I have no hand at this point. Golio to grab Black Sheep, discard Black Sheep. Use Golio's second effect to grab back the Black Sheep. I activate the Black Sheep. Black Sheep to grab back the Lunalight Wolf. Lunalight Wolf, banish. Well, actually no. I made a cross sheep with these two. I banish from graveyard to summon another Perfume Dancer. Cross sheep effect, Perfume's effect, and I grab the third copy of Perfume, and this brought back the Kaleido because I had it. This brought back Kaleido. And then I perfumed. I think I tried to remember one more play, but I know that at the end of this, what ended up happening, it was I ended in a position where I could Liger Dancer again, and I had Saber Dancer already in my graveyard, so I secured the game. That game one lasted over 30 minutes. It was a very tough game, and my opponent bricked on game two, and that was my tournament experience. So overall, how does the new time rules affect this deck moving forward? If your opponent knows what this deck does, and the disparity of like facing the unknowns is out of the way, or they have real outs in their deck, like Kurikara, the Incarnate, then those duels will be a lot tougher for me, because it's not just them having the out, is that game one kind of matters a lot when you know the time is being running out. Like those kind of grindy games where it goes back and forth, they sound really good on paper, but those games will affect your game one, and they do affect your match, because like a lot of time is being running, and I really didn't want the double loss. My opponent didn't want the double loss either. Like we both had the agreement where, depending on what the other game went, someone would have had to win. But yeah, that's pretty much my first experience. I guess we should talk about the policy changes now a little bit more. So, does that affect future gameplay and what decks I will pick for future events? For the most part, I will say no. The way my matches went yesterday with this deck, I kind of feel like as long as there's good sportsmanship between you and your opponent, like deciding games before the match ends should be relatively not that hard. If you get to those really grindy matches, just try to understand if you really need to like give up the duel. If my opponent won game one and we're getting very, very close to time on game two, I'm not gonna play 12 more minutes for 2 more rounds. I mean for two more games. Especially when you're playing a combo heavy deck like this one. If I win game one, your opponent has to make the cognizant decision whether or not they want to scoop game one, because a double loss is worse than a regular loss. But yeah, is Lunalight a good pick for the foreseeable format? This is also a yes and no answer. The reason I want to go leaning more towards yes is because this deck has a very solid win condition, and like when Liger Dancer hits the board, not many people have an out to it. If they don't have the out to it, they realistically shouldn't keep playing the game because that's just time being wasted out of a duel that they know they already lost. If your opponent does have the Liger out, then that becomes different because now those games are a little bit riskier because your opponent is going to like take their time to get rid of these, and you're not getting rid of these like in just 1 second unless you're playing stuff like Lava Golem. Shoutouts to one of the Dragon Tail players at my locals. They are playing Lava Golem in their side deck. I did see it in one of their matches. And you know, they were the Draco Tail player that drew against me last week, so they pretty much knew that I was in this deck, or was on this deck, so they wanted to be prepared for it. So yeah, as long as people are not prepared for this deck, I think this deck is an excellent pick with the new time rules. If people are prepared for this deck, then this is not the best choice because you will probably go into time more often than not, and you don't want that to happen. But this is pretty much a very combo centric like OTK deck, sort of. So yeah, I don't think I need to explain anything else. As for the policy changes involving like bigger events, this is one of those we'll just have to wait and see. I know a lot of people have been doom posting about it. As someone who's only been to one really major event, which is this one right here, where you see this mat, I kinda have to hold my tongue when it comes to these events, because I haven't been to as many of them, but I do wish to go to some of them in the future. And who knows? There's an OTS championship very close, like very soon. So if I top that one, I'll make the consensus of going to like other future events. I do want to go to at least one YCS someday as well. Alright, this is just me rambling at this point. Yeah. This is my Lunalight deck profile. Welcome to the new format-ish. Until next time, keep practicing and keep dueling.